Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up there, guys. It is Thursday. Man, week number 7 in the NFL starts tonight, and let's pray. Oh God, please, no more Denver Broncos in prime time. Poor Amazon. You know what? Although as much money as Amazon gets, because Lord knows, it seems like there's a package here every other day at my house from Amazon, seeing them build new warehouses everywhere, seeing Amazon grocery stores and everything else. I'm not feeling bad about them spending some money for Thursday night football, but God, I think they've been had. I'm sorry. I think they've been swindled, because that is some bad football that we're seeing. I mean, I think actually they've been.
Oh, I say it again. You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. This is what he does.
That's what the NFL did to you, Amazon. You are spending $1.3 billion for that programming. And so far, with the exception of the Kansas City early season game, the rest of them have been ass. We'll be here because, let's face it, it doesn't matter what the NFL puts on. It doesn't matter. We will watch, because that's what we do. They know we're going to watch. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Let me answer one question before we get on to everything here with Dak Prescott coming back and the problems that the Dallas Cowboys that have on the horizon here. A lot of people have been asking me, I need your recipes on the stuff for your game day. Well, I have a playlist that's on here with some of the stuff that, and I've started now another channel, Cooking and Tailgating with Joe Boo. Cooking and Tailgating with Joe Boo. And so each one of the big subs, how I do the different chilies, my Joe Boo wings and all that stuff is all right there on that. So check it out. Some of the videos are a little longer because it's cooking in real time and we do one take. There is no, substitute sub. One take and stuff. So if you're looking for game day eats and stuff, definitely check out Cooking and Tailgating with Joe Boo. Excuse me. All right, so one other thing before we get to the Cowboys. Things are bad in Washington. Thoughts and prayers to my buddy Rio. Rio was in a car accident. I think he's been concussed. I think he was concussed before the car accident, being a Washington Commanders fan, with everything that is there. This is how bad it is in Washington. A Washington Commanders season ticket holder, they had a 50-50 raffle for charity. The winner gets 50% of the money that they raise in the raffle. The other 50% goes to charity. He got the check for $14,000, and the check bounced. The check bounced. He told USA 9 that he'd won the Washington Commanders Charitable Foundation raffle during the team's opening game win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. After waiting over a month for the check took a month, Shipley called out the NFL team on social media asking for his money before asking his ticket representative to reach out to the team. Who am I supposed to talk to? Am I supposed to call Dan Snyder myself? Referring to the Commanders' embattled owner who's been the center of it. He deposited the check with his credit union, but was notified 4 days later that the check bounced. Instead of a massive payday, he was charged $15 for a bad check. Obviously, somebody dropped the ball. Yeah. The Commanders reached back out to him and called it a bank error. Yeah, the error is you didn't have any money in the account. And this is where they are with the Washington Commanders. Yeah, and we won't even go into the whole situation with the owners infighting right now on what to do with Dan Snyder. But Be thankful for what we have in Dallas. At least the checks don't bounce with Jerry Jones. I can guarantee you he's not writing checks that are going to bounce. But the Cowboys, we get Dak Prescott back, and he will be a full participant in practice today. In fact, will be talking to the media, something he has not done since before the Tampa Bay game. So all signs are pointing towards Dak Prescott starting against the Lions. But here's where the Cowboys actually have maybe a little bit of a problem on the horizon, a good kind of a problem. Right now, we know that Damone Clark is in the 21-day window. He's about halfway through. He is going to have to become part of the roster or go back onto IR at some time in the next week and a half, which means somebody has to go off of the active roster. Also, James Washington, who was actually catching passes from Dak Prescott pregame of the Eagles game, is really, really close and should be starting the practice window, the 21-day practice window opening up for him as well. Yesterday, they said he was actually beginning to plant and do a lot of cutting and stuff. And you'll remember in training camp with Michael Gallup, that, towards the end of training camp, he started doing his cuts and things, been working out on the bands for a couple of weeks and things. Well, James Washington is beginning to do those cuts and things and working out on the bands. So we could be looking at him becoming the fourth wide receiver for the Cowboys in the coming weeks. And again, now you got to go ahead. Somebody's got to come off the roster if you're bringing him off of IR. So there's another person who may be losing their job. Also, and here's again, hey, Mr. Chipmunk, how you doing? I've got this chipmunk that seems like he always comes by in the morning and looks in the window here as I'm doing my podcast, as I'm doing my stuff. Oh, there he goes. All right. Sorry. I got to say hello to him, okay? I got to say hello to my little friend. Also, too, and this is where the Cowboys have an embarrassment of riches. Terrell Basham is ready to come back as well. And so they'll need to open up a spot in here. Now, here's where it could get kind of interesting is the trade deadline is November 1st. The Cowboys now adding Terrell Basham back. You've got Basham, you've got Goldston, you've got, of course, Tank Lawrence, you got Micah Parsons, you have Dante Fowler, you have Dorrance Armstrong. Now you have another defensive end / tackle. You got more than you can do something with. Will somebody look to say, you know what, here's an opportunity that we could use a player, make a move, and will the Cowboys use any of their players on the defensive line? We are really, really deep in it. I'm not one that likes to get rid of defensive linemen because I believe the fresher you can keep those guys, the better you're going to be in the fourth quarter, where you're going to be able to shut people down because the offensive line will start getting tired. And the more speed that you can put out there, and when guys are fresh and they're not getting that many opportunities, they're going to be like, I got to get some. If I can do a couple of good plays, I will get more playing time. And so this gets into the psyche of the players as well. And especially when the team starts doing well, it's kind of like a snowball going downhill. It's like, hey, it's a party at the quarterback. I want to get there too. And so this is a great problem to be able to have these guys. Now, the question would be is, with James Washington being close to being able to be back with the team, well, James Washington, who was a second-round draft pick, will he be enough for the Dallas Cowboys going forward, or should the Cowboys look at possibly making a move or a trade to try and get somebody like DJ Moore? Don't know. But I am of the guild that I look at this team right now that has weathered the storm of having the worst schedule in the NFC thus far this year. You think about all the teams that were playoff teams last year that were playing. Of course, if you lose to the Cowboys, then that means that you're not really that good of a team. But when you talk about the defending Super Bowl champions, with or without a hangover, they still have a lot of really great players on that roster. When you look at beating the Cincinnati Bengals, who rose up and end up being in the Super Bowl with a great quarterback who did magic, as they said, with a bad offensive line. When you look at winning against the Giants that right now, Giants are considered a top 5 team. You look at this and say, you did that without your quarterback. You're getting your quarterback back, who's going to be able to do more things than your backup did. You could be getting Tyron Smith back as well, which is another issue as well, too, when you start saying that some people are going to have to go on the roster. You're getting troops middle of the season to go for that stretch run. And this is where you could actually see the Cowboys getting better and peaking towards the end. Now let's go to, of course, NFL AM. They've got the morning news, of course. We'll see what they have to say about it. It starts out with Jane Slater. We will be playing the Detroit Lions, a team that has been very, very good offensively. Defensive-wise, not so much. You know, they're one of the top 5 offenses in the NFL, but I believe they're the worst as far as defense goes. And that may be a great situation to get your quarterback in, first game back, who's amped up. Let's go to the tape.
For Cowboy fans, as well as Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott himself, as head coach Mike McCarthy told us on Wednesday that he has been medically cleared to play. Now, Wednesday, they did have a walkthrough that we weren't privy to here in the media, but it's our understanding that it was a 70-play mock game, and afterwards, he was expected to throw about 40 to 50 footballs to his perimeter players. I did catch up with some of his receivers in the locker room ahead of that, and I said, how does he look? It was Jake Ferguson, the rookie, who said he really has some zip on that football, and it's incredible because when he had his own thumb injury, he couldn't even grip a coffee cup. When I talked to Noah Brown, one of his receivers, as well as Simi Fioco, they echoed those sentiments. The goal is today for him to have another big practice, and if all things go well, we can expect to see Dak Prescott back under center and leading the huddle on Sunday when the Cowboys host the 1-4 Lions at AT&T Stadium.
Jane, it's so lovely to see Jane Slater again. The Lions are coming off a bye, losers of their last 3 games. Dak may be rusty, but the Lions are certainly struggling on defense, which you think would be good for a quarterback coming back from 6-week absence due to a surgery he had in his thumb. Jane Slater, by the way, has a new podcast out. It's an all-women's talk podcast about the Dallas Cowboys.
Sweet.
I know. It's kind of cool.
What is, do we know what
it's called? Girls Talk, Talking Boys.
Perfect.
Yeah, Girls
Slater.
Talk,
I mean, that's everything. You got to have the name.
It looks really great.
Oh, that's perfect.
Cool. So let's stick with the Cowboys. Dak Prescott coming back. A big week. This is an interesting way to look at Dak because you want the expectation on him, but I think the problem here is that for a full season expectation, but this is just one game and it's been a while. The grip strength hasn't been there, hasn't been able to spin the ball quite the way Jerry Jones wants him to. So you have to really split this down into this weekend. How does he return and make that return as smooth as possible?
The thing that lingers is, what if he comes back and they revert back to their week 1 version where they weren't good and the offense was sputtering, and it's like, whoa. We had this train on the tracks with Cooper Rush, and then Dak comes back, and we know Dak is objectively a more athletic and more skilled quarterback and objectively the leader of the locker room. But we kind of had something going. I almost think that the Eagles' loss was a good thing in general for the entire situation.
I know what you mean.
That shut the door on the Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
It's like, Dak's our guy. Don't do too much. Don't overdo it. This defense is elite. They will shut down Jared Goff and the Lions. And I say that, and there's probably a cold take coming when the Lions put up for 600 yards. But they will. And, you don't have to. This is the worst defense in the league. They're sputtering. Dak, go out there, ease into this thing, lean on the run game, get the W, and as we always say on Good Morning Football, the best morning football show you'll ever see. Stack wins. It's a long season. Stack wins. Doesn't have to be pretty. Don't have to win anyone's fantasy league this week. Go out there, get back in the rhythm, get back in the flow.
Right. No one should ever remember this game at the end of the season, that Lions game.
We never want to go back to...
It was unforgettable. You won. It was fine.
Remember when Dak had to pull it out at the very end? Or, worse off, when Dak was so bad coming back
against a defense that it should not have been happening that way.
To me, this is do less.
Yeah.
Just get the win and let's keep on going.
No doubt about it. The Lions are last on defense when it comes to rushing. So we're going to go in. We're going to give Ezekiel Elliott the ball, Tony Pollard. We're going to run the ball down their throats and pick up yards and win the game that way. The same way they've been winning games since Dak has been out, handing the ball off and letting the running backs do their thing. But at the same time, Dak, just go out there and play your game. You don't have to do anything crazy, hand the ball up. But when your numbers call, make the play necessary. If Dak goes out there and plays his game, they're running the ball, and they hit on some big play action passes, and he's doing his thing, who knows? He may throw for 300 yards. I'm okay with that. Play your game. Don't do anything crazy. Like you said, Peter, we don't want to go in, reinvent the wheel. Now, next thing you know, we're throwing 30 passes. But no, go in there, 15 to 20 passes this game. But who knows? If he lights it up because they're making plays, all the merrier. Do your thing, play your game. Don't feel like you have to hold back because this is the first game back. Full week of practice, you're healthy, go out there and play football.
I actually have to. So, Stack wins, play your game.
Don't do much.
But Dak is back, and the Dallas Cowboys will light up the sky. Listen, this not in the DNA of this
pragmatic, though. It's pragmatic.
It sounds great.
It's boring, though.
Have you ever seen pragmatism from the Dallas Cowboys in their history, Peter?
Here we go.
I understand the Cooper Rush.
Built on defense in the run game.
I've seen a lot of great defensive players over the last 25 years. It's sizzle in the show, baby. What are you talking about? You're right.
Yeah.
They're wrong, but you don't run the business.
I know.
You don't run the team.
I know.
I feel like it might be bombs away. I think it's where Dak is back. We will now relaunch the Cowboys enterprises. Jamie, I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like Mr. Jones has just been waiting 6 weeks for this, and he wants a 60 burger to put up there, and we'll sell some merch.
We'll kind of see who like the puppet master is here. Like,
That's
is
right.
it? I know. Is it head coach or is it the owner? We talked about this on Monday a little bit and just what the Cowboys can do if he does indeed return. And I brought up CeeDee Lamb, and I took some heat on social media about this because people were like, remember, I had numbers about Dak Prescott throwing to CeeDee Lamb and the fact that it was, you know, the numbers didn't look great, and people were quick to remind me, like, what is she, a fool? Amari Cooper was there last year. No, I get that. But the point is, in the offseason, Amari Cooper goes to Cleveland, and now CeeDee Lamb is the guy. And they've had no time together, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, to show us what QB1 to wide receiver 1 looks like. And so moving forward, I know the numbers were skewed because Amari Cooper was there, but this begins the time. You know, let's work on like our 0 to 10, 0 to 12, 0 to 15-yard connections with Amari Cooper and develop this offense. Again, it's not just about this weekend. It's about Dak coming back, being healthy, and not bombs away, and making sure this offense is rolling in a way that come Thanksgiving and that special Christmas Eve game that we're still talking about the Cowboys in a way that we want to be.
Kyle, you convinced me. Air it out.
Air it out. Okay. All right, so that's what the talking heads have to say this morning. I dare say that this is, I don't want to say that this could be a trap game. In order to say it's a trap game, then you should be way overmatched. But in today's NFL, that's a week-to-week league. We've seen great teams lose against teams that you never thought that they would. So you have to be doing your due diligence to make sure that you're prepared for every single one. But this is an opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys to actually make a statement and say, we are them boys. Remember that. All right, good people. We're going to have a lot of great content and stuff for you guys today. Check out yesterday. We started something new. I screwed up because I meant to do it as an instant premiere, and I ended up scheduling it for 8 p.m. last night. But there is a video that we did, me and Brother Roz, and basically it's a point-counterpoint of just basically thoughts that I have, and getting somebody who's not a Cowboy fan to kind of go through and prove me wrong. And so basically I was calling it, "You're an Idiot, Mark Holmes, and here's why." And I think people may not have watched it that much because of the title on it, thinking it was something else from somebody else. But definitely check it out, because we end up talking about Jake Ferguson in there. We end up talking about Mike McCarthy and his legacy. We talk about Dak Prescott coming back. And it's kind of a different format than what we've done. Basically, we're taking a subject, we're spending about 5 minutes on it, trying to prove it one way or the other, whether or not I'm an idiot or if I can convince a non-believer. So check it out. And with always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, as well as you ladies, and I will check you later.
Coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, have fun!